The Wild Swans. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a kind and gentle princess named Eliza. She had 11 older brothers, and they all loved one another very dearly. The palace was always filled with laughter and song, as the princess taught Eliza how to read, play music, and dance in the gardens. Their days were happy, and their hearts were full. But one day, everything changed. The king, their father, remarried a woman who was proud and cold. She did not like Eliza or her brothers. She was jealous of their kindness and love, for her heart knew none. With dark magic, the new queen cast a terrible spell. Eliza's brothers were turned into wild swans and flew far away, vanishing into the sky. Eliza, too, was sent away to live in a distant village, where no one knew she was a princess. At first, Eliza cried each night, missing her brothers and wondering if she would ever see them again. But she grew brave. She tended a little garden and helped kind villagers, all the while waiting with hope in her heart. One day, while walking deep in the forest, she looked up and saw a flock of swans flying overhead. As the sun began to set, the swans landed on a quiet lake. To her amazement, the birds shimmered in the golden light and changed into her brothers. "Eliza!" they cried, running to embrace her. "My brothers!" she wept, holding them close. They told her of the queen's curse, that they could only become human at night, and at sunrise, they would return to their swan form. Eliza promised to help them, no matter the cost. That night, as she slept under the trees, a fairy appeared in her dream. "To break the curse," the fairy whispered, "you must pick nettles with your bare hands and spin them into thread. With the thread, you must weave 11 shirts. But remember, if you speak even one word before the last shirt is finished, your brothers will remain swans forever." Eliza woke with a start, but her heart was full of determination. She found the stinging nettles growing among the rocks and began her work. Her hands burned and blistered as she pulled the sharp leaves, but she made no sound. Day after day, she spun and wove. Her lips closed in silence. One morning, a young king rode by and found her sitting near a cave, weaving the rough green cloth with bloody hands. Though she could not speak, the kindness in her eyes touched his heart. He brought her to his castle and gave her a quiet room to continue her work. Eliza remained silent, always weaving, but the people of the kingdom grew curious. They wondered why the girl never spoke. Some grew suspicious. When they saw her gathering nettles at night and her hands red with pain, they began to whisper. Rumors spread. Some said she was a witch. The king tried to protect her, but fear grew stronger than trust. At last, the royal council demanded she be punished. Still, Eliza did not speak. She had finished 10 shirts, and only one remained. On the day of her trial, the sky grew dark. The people gathered, and Eliza was led to the square with the final shirt folded in her arms. As the firewood was set beneath her, she saw a flock of swans flying in from the sky. The swans landed around her. In that very moment, she threw the last shirt into the air. A brilliant light surrounded them. The swans shimmered, their wings fading, and in their place stood her brothers, whole and human again. Tears filled her eyes as she turned to the people and finally spoke. "I have done no harm. These are my brothers, and I have saved them." The crowd stood still, silent in awe. The king rushed to her side, his heart full of love and regret. Eliza smiled, though her hands still ached. Her brothers embraced her, their eyes shining with tears. Peace returned to the kingdom. Eliza's courage and love were never forgotten. She and the king ruled with kindness, and her brothers, once swans, found joy in their freedom. Each night, Eliza would sit beneath the stars, her hands no longer weaving nettles, but holding the hands of those she loved. The wind carried no more sorrow, only the soft whisper of feathers and the memory of quiet bravery. And so, the princess who spoke no words for the sake of love lived gently ever after,